Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel Tintle and I am the owner and designer behind the Creative Siren. So this week I have a really fun Tumbler tutorial for all of you guys. It is the perfect amount of creepy and spooky and Halloweeny. I just adore it. And since I developed it back in 2018, 2019, it has been a fan favorite. So of course I am talking about my black flame candle. I absolutely love this guy. He is so great. He is aged to perfection and just gives like your Halloween decor or your Halloween outfit just kind of that extra special like oomph. I know I love this, and it's perfect to carry around when you're looking, you know, super witchy or feeling super witchy. Anyways, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a fully sanded and prepped tumbler, and I went ahead and spray painted mine in white. I always tape off my tops and my bottoms, but particularly with this design I find that it's a little bit more important just because of how we do our drips. So I'm going to be taping off my tops and my bottoms on this tumbler as well. Now here I'm using Don't Speak from PDB Creative Studio and a little bit of yellow from Tim Holz alcohol inks. And I'm just mixing those in. I'm doing just a few drops of the yellow and then adding a little bit of alcohol to dilute the whole solution. I'm grabbing a clean cotton ball and just very lightly covering my entire tumbler with this color. Now I don't want to have a very hard and concentrated look here. I really want to have this diluted, muted, almost dirty look to it. And you really want to make sure that you don't have a lot of streaks. If you're finding that you're getting more streaks, grab a little bit of alcohol to help even out the color. And go ahead and let that dry fully before moving on. Now here I have this decal that I made myself, and I've just printed out on paper. You can do it on water slide, but there is a very distinct reason why I do it on paper that I will show you just here in a second. So just cut around all of the edges. I just like to do it in this cute little design, and then Mod Podge it straight onto your tumbler. Now when it comes to the Mod Podge, you are going to want to add Mod Podge to the entire tumbler, because if you add Mod Podge to just the area that you want this decal to sit, it's going to look funny later. Now go ahead and center your decal and then rub it down the middle and then out towards the sides. That way you don't get any air bubbles underneath. Now add some Mod Podge right on top. And you don't need a very thick layer of this, just a very thin layer. And then take your finger and rub downwards in a very downward motion quickly. It does make a difference if you print this out right before you're about to do this, because it's going to cause the ink to run just a little bit, which is going to really distress the label here for our candle. And if you find that you have a few spots that are drying out as you're doing this, you can add a little bit of more Mod Podge to help moisten that area so that you can drag the ink just a little bit more. Now you're going to want to wait for that Mod Podge to fully dry before moving forward, but once it is, grab a clean cotton ball and this black flash from Folk Art, and we're just going to sponge this black onto the very tops and the bottoms of our candle cup. Now I like to use a cotton ball because of the little fibers that it has there, and it leaves a really nice texture all around and almost looks like, I mean, that it's just dirty and grimy. So if you guys want to use a sponge, that's totally fine, but it won't give you those cool little fibrous textures that the cotton ball does. And I like to drag that black paint all the way down onto the sides of our little decal there, just to kind of frame it a little bit. You don't have to, you can just do the tops and the bottoms, but it's a personal aesthetic look for me. And so I do it on the bottom as well, where I drag up and then I really just frame that decal just a little bit. And once you're happy with that look, go ahead and let it dry fully before moving on. Now again, we're gonna mix just a little bit of Don't Speak with a little bit of yellow to create that same mixture that we did before and get a brand new cotton ball. Don't forget to add your alcohol ink to dilute the color, and we're going to just dab that over the yellow that's already there. And because we Mod Podge the whole cup, it's actually going to cause some of the fibers from your cotton ball to stick to the cup, which is really cool because it's going to give it this grainy aged look on top of that by leaving those fibers there. And then go ahead and color your decal so that we age that really, really well. You'll notice that in some spots it might smudge your paint a little bit, and that's okay. Again, it adds to the kind of aged aesthetic that we're looking for here, but you just want to keep dabbing until you get the exact look that you're going for. I do go in and I go around the edges and I really highlight those edges with the Don't Speak and the yellow mixture. And then I'll go in once I'm happy with that and do the rest of the decal so it matches. But you don't want to go in too heavy, as you still want to be able to read what's on the label of our candle. Now that you have your candle looking exactly the way you want it, it's time to add our candle drips. So I grabbed these white hot glue sticks, and that's what we're going to be using for our drips. If you did tape off the tops and the bottoms of your cup, go ahead and remove the top tape, as that's just going to get in the way of our glue. And then with my glue stick, or with my glue gun rather, I just randomly make drips. I start from the bottom of the drip and I really concentrate just like a little bit of extra hot glue down there, and then just drag it upwards. Now, because your hot glue is still hot when you put it on here, it will drip just a little bit more. So if you're doing this over by your words, make sure not to go too far down, otherwise it will cover it as it drips. And I usually go around maybe 2 to 3 times to fill in a lot of those gaps. And so I really have a good amount of drips here. Once you're happy with the way that your drips are, we're going to clean up this edge that's right up here. So we're going to just grab our hot glue gun and we're going to really pile it on right at the top and make them really, really heavy. You don't want to do the same drips that we did before. Just do quick bursts of your hot glue and let gravity do the rest. But ultimately, if you're not happy with the drips and you want them to kind of move down a little bit more, you can just grab your heat gun, add a little bit of heat, and that'll drag even more. Now remember, when you're doing this, I didn't realize this, is that it will heat up your cup. So even after you take away the heat from your heat gun, your cup will stay pretty hot, and this will run maybe a little bit more than you wanted to. So actually here, I'm gonna end up doing a second layer of, the heavy drips at the top here, just because it thinned out just a little bit too much. So if you're not looking for that, just be sure to kind of pull back a little bit more. Don't add as much heat, and just understand that it will heat up your cup and will continue those drips. And then there I go. I think those look pretty good. So the next step from here is to just age our drips. So from here, I'm just grabbing Don't Speak. I'm not adding any yellow to it. I'm just using Don't Speak straight as it is with a little bit of alcohol. I am going to tape off my top again because the alcohol will stain your top rim. So if you're not looking for it to be stained, you definitely want to tape that off. And just grab a clean cotton ball, dip it into your alcohol ink, and just start dabbing. And there you go. The next thing we have to do is just epoxy it. Easy peasy. Now when we are adding epoxy to our candle mug, because of the nature of the drips, you do want to push the epoxy up into those drips to make sure that you get all of those little crevices, because air pockets really love to hide in there. And as always, just hit it real quick with some heat to get rid of any air bubbles, and really concentrate a little bit of extra time and effort onto your drips because there will be air pockets in there. So you'll see me kind of popping a couple right here in this video. And that's it, guys. Now you have this really spooky, cool black flame candle to show off to anybody that you'd like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. If you loved this video, be sure to click here to see our last video. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another tutorial. See you later. Bye!